Hello.
Hi.
Guys. Good. How are you all?
About time you invited us.
I know. I'm like, here are the girls.
Just off in the corner by ourselves.
You know what? You're at the best table. Come on.
So since these characters don't age and it's almost like they're in a perpetual state of arrested development, how do you keep your performances feeling fresh so that I don't know how much I don't know if you can really develop them in the same way that you would, something
I'm personally in an arrested development. It's easy.
I mean, I think honestly, so much credit has to be given to the writers because they keep the characters fresh. As Wendy was just saying, this isn't a show where we do a lot of improvising. It's very thoughtfully written, and so they want us to deliver what's written. And so, but it is still so funny and so fresh. I mean, the table read that we did this past Wednesday was one of the funniest ones. I mean, we were howling. It was hilarious. So it's not hard to go in to the record and give it the energy that it needs because it's still fantastic material. I think it would be harder if the material started to suck, but luckily we're not there.
Right, yeah. I mean, with animation, there's such a bigger range of, what you can write to and what you can do that, I think it just keeps it interesting because it can really get kind of zany. It's not like a sitcom where you have to be in the reality of, what you can physically do. So anyway, it just keeps it fun for us too.
The show goes into a lot of different genres as well because it is animation. Do you have a preferred genre of story that you like to play out more?
I mean, I like the musical episodes for sure, which is so fun that we get to do them so often. It's funny though because the writers are not singers. Well, it's just funny because they just think you can do whatever they throw at you, right? So I wish I could remember what song it was. It was some song that it wasn't Barbra Streisand, but it was something where the performance was like crazy good, and they're like, just do it like that. And I'm like, it's nice that you think that I just have that in my back pocket, but it's kind of hard. And luckily, our engineer is also a musician, so Jeremy will chime in, and he'll be like, yeah, that's really hard what you're asking her to do right now. Why don't we take it down a key? Or why don't we...
And Rachel has been, really generous with me because I'm a non-singer, and at the beginning, you did some temp tracks for me. You did, that I could follow.
Yeah.
Did I thank you for that? Or
you're welcome.
Did I send a little something?
I am sure you did. That was a long time ago.
I gotta send Zabars again.
Since the show has been on so long, and even though that everyone is kind of in Arrested Development, would you still say that your character's relationship has grown in any way over the years? I know that they're two completely different characters, even though I believe Francine used to be a hippie back in the day, so on some level she gets who Hayley is.
I think Francine gets who Hayley is more than Stan gets who Hayley is, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I think with Hayley, there has been development within her character that you don't often see. I mean, she's gotten married, that's a big, and then she and Jeff obviously are still living with Stan and Francine. But that relationship is much more solid, so we get to explore that in ways that we haven't before. We have an episode coming up where Hayley and Jeff become influencers, right? And they go on the road as influencers. And Hayley gets really, really into it, and it's like, oh, I've got all this freedom now, but it turns out to be, this kind of horrible experience for them. But I think that there has definitely been growth for my character, at least over the 13 seasons that everyone's seen.
Yeah, and I think Francine at the beginning was really written as, the nurturing mom in the kitchen with high heels and a string of pearls on, that kind of mom. And then they would depart from that to show her wilder side. But I think since the beginning, she's become a lot more kind of sarcastic, off to the side, and not so much of a pushover is what I
definitely
see.
Have more of an edge to you.
Yeah, I think so.
Recent episodes, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I think
Francine drinks a little more now than she did.
yeah, which helps, as we all know, everything.
It helps everything.
Yeah.
Since both of your characters are married women, do you perceive the relationships that they're in as like functional in their own way, or more so like dysfunctional for the sake of parodying something?
Oh my God, Hayley's relationship. Well, we have that episode that you were talking about coming
Yeah.
up where Hayley and
I'm kind of schooling Hayley on what to do when the husband thing gets just ridiculous. Instead of battling it out or suffering some kind of angst, you just go to a airport bar.
yeah, so they like meet up at this airport bar.
Right. Yeah.
Rivals, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's an Irish airport bar.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think Hayley and Jeff's relationship is insanely dysfunctional. You know, she puts up with so much. It's like it's like having another child.
Well, I mean, so is Stan and Francine. But the thing about our episodes is that, you know, they go to the moon and back to sort of have a little lesson at the end, you know. Oh, it's better to be kind to somebody, or, you know, whatever.
It always wraps up with a nice bow.
Yeah, you know, so I think in both of their relationships, whenever they've been, you know, battling sharks or whatever, they're really happy to be back to normal and back with each other, and would choose their partners over and over again. You know.
Or they have a really twisted ending of like, oh, well, if you become ugly, it's over. Or like, oh, if you're fat, like, it's over.
Yeah, but it never is.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
the
Because they don't age and they don't change.
right.
You just said that Hayley becomes an influencer, which is like such a recent thing that we all know. So is there anything else that is kind of just as like current that's coming up?
I mean, that is kind of. We've been doing this for a long time, let's be honest, right? So, I mean, there are certain things in scripts where I will literally go in and be like, I don't get this. I do not understand this line. Like Hayley had, I think it was like, we out here? Or something like that. And I was like, I don't know what this means. I don't know how you say it. I'm 42. Come on. Because we are all aging. It happens. It's part of life, right? So we're not the writers aren't in their 30s anymore. Most of us are in our 40s and we're married with kids.
I don't know what the original question was, but at the beginning, they would write sexual things in that. I mean, I knew the processes, but I didn't know the vernacular.
Oh, right.
So I would go in the booth, and they would have to explain to me what teabagging was or something like that. And it was hilarious to watch them squirming, going, you know, you tell her. Yeah.
But we do have some young writers. There's this one young writer who did write this episode, and our show creator Matt Weitzman and I were just cracking up about all the things we needed him to define for us. Because I was like, I don't get this, dude. Like, you're so much younger.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. We have to keep hiring a new crop that's yet another half a generation behind us.
So sad.